Goedemiddag en welkom hier vanaf die Boland Rugby Stadion. Dis waar die Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi plaasvind. Hy speel gasheer vir die naweek. Vandag die eerste wedstryde, dis die tweede wedstryd wat plaasvind tussen Roses United en Never Dispair. Roses United wat geleentheid het om die bal af te skop. Xavier Solomons goed bemeester in die lug. Manne van Never Dispair, hulle maak seker by die afskoppe. Nou word gewag agterlangs Stefie Lander. Middelik word die bal geskuif. Goeie verdediging word uitgevoer. Roses, goeie opskietverdediging. Nou word daar steelkant omgespeel. Weer in die binnekant gespeel vir een van die groot voorspelers. Man wat reguit maak, net een pad ken. Is dit Frederik Percent. Die skrimskaker wat wag vir die bal, maar onmiddellik 'n strafskop wat toegeken word. Die eerste strafskop van hierdie wedstryd. Nou sit Kanik Philander wat gaan kyk hoeveel meters hy vir sy span kan wen. So belangrik om in die regte gebiede te gaan speel. Hy maak seker hy al die kantlyn. Nou sit Keanu Peters wat moet seker maak dat hy sy springers gaan vind. Keanu, McQuay liewer, Shelton, Koopman. Die manne wat daar in die middel is. Peters. Hy maak seker, nou word die bal vooringeneem deur die voorspelers. Agtergewag die Frederik Percent. Nou is dit Roses wat die bal afgeneem het en onmiddellik word die bal wyd gespeel. Mark Andries. Was dit 'n aanslaan? Was dit 'n strafskop voordeel wat gespeel word? Nou word daar reguit gemaak in die middelveld. Eswop Tampies wat reguit maak in die middel. Skeieregter wat voordeel gespeel het. Is goed om te sien die man is bereid om die bal rond te gooi. Dis waaroor die toernooi gaan. Hulle is hier om die toeskouers te vermaak en ons verwag heelwat toeskouers bietjie later. Die tweede wedstryd van hierdie Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi. Tweede wedstryd wat geskied hier Roses United en Never Dispair. Nou is dit 'n geleentheid vir Alson Davids, die kaptein, om die bal in te voer. Hy maak seker hy vind Ryan Percent. Nou word die bal aan Gallas agterlangs geskuif. Maak Andries in die middelveld word die bal opgeneem. Hy word gewag agterlangs vir die bal deur die hande geskuif. Effens agter die speler. Weer Gallas. Hy doen al die speelwerk met Solomons op loskakel. Maar saam met my, Eugene. Eugene, welcome.
Very good day to you, Shaw. Good day to all our viewers, wherever you find yourself. And I mean, what a spectacle this is, the Thurlow Marsh Rugby Easter Festival here in Wellington. And what a privilege it is to all these clubs to come out here and play at the Rugby Stadium here at Boland. Brilliant stuff, isn't it?
Absoluut. En ons is bevoorreg om die beste uitsig te hê. Die Bolandse berge, ons is omring met die Bolandse berge. Wat 'n goeie uitsig, wat 'n pragtige uitsig, Eugene.
I always enjoy coming here, Shaw. Beautiful as always. No clouds to be seen. What a shove that is there by Roses as well. And they again on the attack.
Nou word Mark Andries, hy ken dit een pad. Hy's in 'n gaping. Kan dit die eerste punte wees van die wedstryd? Hy sterk en hy rond af. Hy maak seker hy teken die eerste punte aan vir die Roses span.
Well, as easy as that, you said it there. Mark Andries, strong runner with ball in hand. And he only knows one way to run, and that is straight for the try line. But this Roses team, they are coming into this tournament and with a lot of confidence because they are unbeaten in the league and they're playing some really good rugby. And early on, we can see that. And we've seen the tone set by the young Hamiltons early on, and I think they want to surpass that.
Nou is dit die 2 punte wat bygevoeg kan word. Xavier Solomons. Ook 'n jong loskakel liewer wat vanjaar aangesluit het by die Roses span. Heelwat nuwe spelers wat ingekom het. Ek kyk ook na Yurik Agallas en Adri Kermis nog verlede jaar by die Hillcrest span gespeel. Xavier Solomons. Hy voeg die 2 punte by. Onmiddellik is die Roos span voor 7 punte teenoor geen en ons verwag 'n goeie wedstryd hier by die Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi.
Yeah, and it's going to be an uphill battle here. One would think from Never Dispair here. They've come all the way from Malmesbury, and I think they want to also come out and show what they like. Seen them warming up early on, and they're full of running. They want to get the ball moving, but you need to be in the territory to do that. In the possession of the ball is also the key. I think we know what to expect here from this Roses team.
Philander wat nou die geleentheid het om die bal af te skop vir sy span. Never Dispair daar van die Swartland gebied. Philander. Die bal die Solomons in die hande gekry. Interessant. Liewer dis Ismail of Nathan August wat die bal gehad het. Nou is dit Solomons wat die bal veld afjaag. Hy gaan ongelukkig nie die kant heen haal. Hy kan ons 'n teenaanval sien deur die manne van die Swartland. Lyk na vorentoe aangee. Skeieregter wat goed geposisioneer is. Hy sê alles is in orde. Kom ons kyk wat maak die manne met hierdie bal. Roses wat die bal afneem. Hulle gaan verseker hardloop met die bal. Span wat dopgehou moet word, Roses. Hulle het geen bekendstelling nodig, Eugene.
That is definitely it. And again, they're just looking to run the ball at any occasion. And again, it comes down the back line. That man again, Mark Andrews with ball in hand, pops it up. Still a few men, but the cover defense is quite good here from the men from Malmesbury.
Galas, nou word die bal geskuif. Lyk na Cornel Solomons wat die bal in die hand het, wat die bal opgeneem het. Weer word Andries gebruik. Hy besluit die keer, hy gaan die bal skuif effens deur 'n gaping. Skalai Lawrence ook 'n gevaarlik as hy by die agterlyn insluit. Nou is dit weer agterlangs deur die hande. Davids wat die bal opneem. Die keer is dit Chandler Davids. Nou word die bal weer geskuif. Solomons so kort aangee, reguit gemaak. Was dit die regte besluit? Regte aangee na buite, Eugene.
I'll just hold the ball in contact. They've done so well. They carried the ball. They've shown their patience. They set up phase after phase after phase. And then it's just a good platform and some good flat passing, and men are plenty coming in on a good run. I think that was Adrianza with a good run, just straightening that line. But we got to keep an eye on the 12 and 13. Mark Andres and Nathan August. They look like they love running with ball in hands as well. And you said that, man, Lawrence from fullback. You can see everything happening. Got to keep an eye on him as well.
Peters. Nee, goeie ingooi by die weer Davids wat die bal oppik. Liewer Alson Davids, die keer die kaptein. Nou sit daar Gallas wat wag. Al word weer agterlangs geskuif. Hy het ook geen bekendstelling nodig. Hy verlede week sy debuut gemaak. Ronaldo Young, hy kan gevaarlik wees in spasie. Frederik Persens. Verseker, manne wil in die regte gebiede nie 'n goeie skoppie gaan speel liewer. Maar nog steeds. Manne wat so 'n bietjie hoë risiko rugby speel, hy kry dit tog reg om die manne te flous.
That's Philander just trying to tidy things up, and they're still looking to run the ball. That pass has gone astray, and this is going to be a lot of pressure here for Lee Donovan April. He's dragged down, but I think they still got the ball in hand. Never Dispair.
Ja, kaptein sal harde woorde moet het met die manne om in die regte gebiede te gaan speel. Hulle het die geleentheid gehad om die bal uit te skop. Kan ek Philander, nou besluit die manne hulle gaan genoeg spasie gee vir Philander, maar onmiddellike strafskop.
Just indicated there as a high tackle by the referee, and a chance here for Never Dispair to just gain some territory, relieve some pressure. And yeah, all high risk stuff at the minute from both sides, we have to say. I have to make a mention there that early on, just after they got the kickoff there, Xavier Lee looking for the cross diagonal kick. It wasn't one of the best, so it's a very big playing surface here, and I think the teams need to get used to that big playing surface as well.
Keanu Peters. Weer nie goeie ingooi by die lyn staan nie. Afgeneem deur Davids. Nou sit daar Gallas wat wag vir die bal. Verseker gaan hulle die bal agterlangs skuif. Weer word die bal opgeneem in die middelveld. Agterlyn wat lekker diep staan van Roses United. Gallas wat steelkant om speel, hy maak gebruik van die groot manne. Nou word hy lekker sterk gehad op die Ryan Persens. Weer Gallas. Nou sit Mentor, een van die ervare spelers. Slot ons 'n Mentor, Solomons. Andries in 'n gaping. Steeds, Paul word lewendig gehou. Dit kan gevaarlik wees. Ronaldo Young in besit. Roses sal geduldig moet wees op die aanval. Maar die skeieregter wat 'n handslaan opmerk, Eugene.
Just as you use that word patience there, geduldig moet wees. Oh, they just didn't have the patience there. But again, enterprising stuff there from the Roses again. Moving it from side to side, forwards, interlinking with the backs there as well. Some good runs there from, again, Adrianse Davids. The two Davids have been prominent so far. Ashwin Mentor as well. You can see the experienced men really coming to the fore. And at any stage they got ball in hand, they want to give it to the backline there of the Roses.
Geen twyfel baie ervaring in die Rose span. Adrianse, Elson David, Chantle Davids, onmiddellik weer 'n strafskop. Sig van verligting vir die manne van Dispair. Maar hulle sal uit hulle gebied moet kom. Nou besluit hulle weer om met die bal te hardloop. Man aan die buitekant, nie 'n goeie aangee nie. Skeieregter wat die spel laat voorgaan, die keer is dit heel agter so uit Bitterhout. Hulle kry dit reg om hulle uit die moeilikheid te hardloop. Nie 'n goeie aangee na buite nie, sal sien dat dit graag wil sien Eugene dat die bal na die hand gaan. Regte aangee na buite.
Well, they don't want to kick the ball, they just want to run. I think this time, with play taking a little bit of time, they might just opt to find a good touch here. They've gained some good ground from deep inside their own 22, and they've taken play just beyond the 10-meter line now of the Roses, so they've got to be wary. And what I can see is a different height distinction here between the two teams. The men from Malmesbury Dispair, they're a little bit shorter, but they've got quicker feet, so we've got to watch that back line of theirs as well. Bigger men from the Roses.
Nou is dit Peters. Hy sal wel seker maak. Weer kry dit nie reg nie. Geen twyfel dat die manne van Roses gaan aanval. Bal word deur die hande geskuif, maar ek sal graag wil sien dat dit opgeneem word in die middelveld, dat daar meer spasie geskep word vir die buite-agterspelers. Maar dit gebeur hier, die bal word vinnig geskuif. Roses wat skuins oor die veld hardloop as hulle die bal skuif, Eugene, sal sien dat hulle meer Andries gebruik in die middelveld en ook die groot voorspelers, Adrianse, ons het Davids, ons het die ander David, Chantle Davids en dan ook Eshwell Dampies en Oswin Mentor. Dan praat ek eens van die lostrio, die Solomons, Persens en Kermis.
Yeah, that penalty going the way thereof Roses for coming in at the angle and that ruck time, and that's a good kick taking play inside the 22 of Dispair. Now, are we going to see our first catch and maul here? That's all set up for it, is it? Well, we see the big man there, Kermis. He's actually in the back line, so it might not be a catch and drive.
Sean Davids, hy maak seker hy vind Persens. Nou is dit 'n rolmaalbeweging wat van stapel gestuur word, baie moeilik om dit te verdedig. Kanse dat jy gestraf gaan word is 95%. Nou word hy weggebreek deur Alson, die kaptein. Gallas wat wag vir die bal agter, Eshwell Dampies wat op skrimskakel is. Nou word die bal opgeneem. Solomons wat lekker praat met die manne, Xavier Lee Solomons, jong loskakel. Nou word daar weer die bal word weer in die middelveld opgeneem. Die keer is dit Solomons, Cornel Solomons, Xavier Lee Solomons. Op sy tone, so byna maak Andries, maar nie 'n goeie aangee nie.
Yeah, a little bit too laterally that from the Roses for the first time in this match, just not getting over that advantage line. And good defense has to be said there from Dispair. They've done really well to really put some pressure here on the back line, and we can see Solomons and Andries just having a little bit of a word here, just saying, listen, we need to get across that line, we need to straighten it up a little bit, maybe a flatter pass is needed, but they need to watch that rush defense, Charles, and it's coming up very, very quickly from Dispair.
Roses manne wat kamp opslaan in die gebied van Dispair, hulle kan nie uit hulle gebied kom nie. Die keer is dit weer die loskakel Philander wat weer nie die kant lê daar nie. Nou word die bal na binne gespeel, gevaarman Kyle Lawrence. Nie 'n goeie aangee na Nathan August nie. Nathan August. Dit is tydelik dat hulle speel aan die kant, na die kant van die gevaarman Ronaldo Young wat sy debuut vir die Boland Cavaliers gemaak het. Die keer is dit die kaptein Elson David. Weer Gallas. Persens. Nou is dit die gevaarman. Verseker gaan hy afrond. Binne toe gegee, was dit 'n vorentoe aangee? Skeieregter sê nee, maak Andries wat afrond.
Well, that's his second. That is his second try, and it's made all by that man. The fly off. Xavier Solomons had a break, and then it was practically 2-on-1. No, there was no pair, no despair there for the men from Roses. We have to say that, because over he pops again, and that is a simple try. And I think that's well deserved for all the pressure they exerted here within the first 25 minutes, Charles, and it's all gone the way of the Roses.
Absoluut, dit kan nie goeie nuus wees vir die manne van Never Dispair nie. Roses, as hulle aan die gang gaan kom, Eugene, voorspel ek moeilikheid vir die Never Dispair span.
Oh, this is playing with a confidence that everybody knows this Roses team, how they started in their league. They've played really well. They're undefeated.
Xavier Solomons wat die 2 punte byvoeg.
And it just shows how they just distributing the ball, and they just know what to do and how to do it. And the big men, Andries as well, always finds a way. And I said earlier, he had a word there with Nathan, apologies, with Xavier Solomons early on, just before that try got scored. And then what happens? Solomons with the break, passes off there too, and Andries. So looks like the words have paid off.
Lyk na 'n oefenwedstryd hier op Boland Rugby stadion, met alle respek gesê. Lyk of Roses met die ene gaan weghardloop, telling reeds 14 punte teenoor die Never Dispair span se geen punte. Weer Philander lekker hoog geskop. Uiteindelik word die bal bemeester. En interessant om te sien dat van die agterspelers by die afskoppe die bal neem. Die keer is dit weer Joe Nathan August wat die bal neem by die afskop. Waar met die linker klou kant op veld gewen, maar nee, skeieregter wat sê regstreeks uit.
And that's what happens when you put him under pressure. You might find a chance there to gain some territory and force a mistake. That's what they've done there. So now a chance here for Never Dispair with this lineup. It has been a problem for them though. This facet of play, Charles, they haven't mastered it as yet. Can they do it here?
Geleentheid vir die manne van Never Dispair, Keanu Peters, wat by vorige geleenthede nie sy springers kon vind. Die keer probeer hom voor, Passens wat die bal agterlangs skuif, nou sit Solomons wat die bal veld afjaag. So in Bitterhout, hy lyk gevaarlik met bal in die hand. Hy gaan verseker die bal weer terug, ja, hy besluit om te hardloop, maar hy loop hom vas teen Mentor. Hy kry dit reg om uit die verdediger te hardloop. Maar ongelukkig in die proses word die bal aangeslaan, maar goeie poging.
Well, they're going to come back for the penalty there. High tackle. It's deemed there from Mentor on the 15. That was good stuff. He broke the tackle initially and then went on, and then it was in fact Dumpies that sort of tackled him from behind, and then he lost the ball.
Die Philander, die keer maak hy seker. Keanu Peters, hy sal moet seker maak dat hy sy springers vind. Kom ons kyk wat maak hy die keer met die poging. Belangrik om die basiese aspekte reg te kry. Keer kry dit reg. Hier is dit Persens. Nou word die bal agterlangs geskuif in die gevaar, man se hande Bitterhout. Hy's aan 'n gaping, maar goeie verdediging deur Ronaldo Young. Die bal weer vir een van die groot manne in die middelveld. Sprei die Titus. Hy's 'n groot kerel. Pierre Philander. Verby aangee onderskep. Nog steeds, Roses in besit. Skeieregter wat sê, nee manne, kom terug.
All too flat, all too lateral. They was pointing to see if they may get the kick just over the back line there. Over the defensive line, I should say, to see if they can maybe get a few people running onto that. They decided to hold the ball in hand. And sometimes it's just about playing the territorial game and just get the ball inside the opposition's 22 and then play from there. However, they were fortunate to still get the ball here. Scrum time on the halfway line.
Frederik Persens kan weer die bal invoer by die skrim. Manne van Never Dispair wat ongelukkig in die verkeerde gebiede speel. Nou word daar in die middelveld die bal opgeneem, weer agterlangs geskuif. Binne toe gekom, maar vorentoe aangee.
Yeah, I think right play, just the execution wasn't good. It's just 2 and 4 between at the minute there from Never Dispair. They're just 14 points behind. They're not out of the game as yet. They just need to tidy up some of the errors that they are making here, Charles, and then maybe try and see if they can put some pressure back here on Roses. As I see, interesting lineup again. I think Andries might get this at first receiver. He's just standing beyond the 10 there of Solomons.
Goeie skrim deur die Roos. Gallas wat wag, hy is nie haastig vir die bal agter nie. Nou is dit Eureka Gallas. Rolskoppie vir Young. Nou is dit Butterhout. Maar strafskop, voordeel wat gespeel was.
They are winning the scrums, hands down at the minute. Roses United getting the penalty. I'm sure they're going to try and find the touchline here, and then we might just see that rolling ball.
Geen twyfel, dis een van Roses United se sterkpunte. Rolmaal beweging wat hulle van stapel gaan stuur verseker.
How many men they're going to commit here to this lineup? That's a start. There's a few more men in there.
Davids, Persens word baie gebruik in die lyn staande. Nou word die rolmaal beweging van stapel gestuur. Davids wat agterin kom. En hy breek weer weg, ongelukkig. Weer Andries. Pop, aan gee die middelveld. Kermis. Was die bal verloor in die proses. Skeieregter wat voordeel speel vir Never Dispair. Graag wil sien dat Ganik Philander wel uit die moeilikheid skop hier. Al wat nie die kantlyn gaan haal nie. Nou is dit Jywin Peterson. Lekker sterk hardloop deur 'n gaping. Vir 'n oomblik was hy alleen. Nou is dit Gallas wat wag vir die bal met Solomons ook.
Well, great defense there from Never Dispair. Initially, the left winger Peterson came through, untouched, it has to be said, through a few gaping holes. But the other thing, just to go back to that line out there, so Davids after he throw the ball, he needs to latch onto the maul a little bit quicker and get some pace. Every time he's taken it, the maul hasn't gone anywhere forward, so there's no impetus on the hit when the maul decides to go forward. So it's almost like they need to get a second shove on. And at the minute, Never Dispair's got the better of them, keeping them at bay at maul time.
Persent, goeie skram deur die Roos. Nou word die bal agterlangs gespeel. Lyk maklik agter. Peterson kan die afrond. Goeie verdediging word uitgevoer. Never Dispair. En die manne van Roses wat ongelukkig kamp opslaan in die gebied van Never Dispair, Eugene.
Yeah, it's just tackling after tackling that Never Dispair has to do here. The pressure is on. This is a penalty right in front of the sticks, and they've opted to go for the scrum, and why not? They are dominating in this facet of play.
Die manne het soos Adriaanse, die twee Davids, Tampies en Mentor, en dan Solomons, Persens en Kermis wat die lostrio vorm. Kan ons sien dat Kermis die bal vinnig agter gaan optel. Die keer is dit Gallas wat wag, hulle gaan steelkant om beweeg, verseker Solomons. Nou word die bal in die hande van Peterson in 'n gaping. Hy laat dit maklik lyk.
Well, how easy was that? But you're allowed to do that, all set up by that forward pack with another good scrum, strong scrum. And at the minute, Never Dispair got no answer to that. And then it was just going through the hands. And it was a good pass out to the left winger, Jywin Peterson. There was a few decoy runners as well in the way as well, but perfectly done, perfectly executed by the Roses.
So Nathan, of liewer Xavier Lee, Solomons wat weer 'n geleentheid het om die ekstra punte by te voeg, 100% rekord sover. Die manne van die Roos wat die spel beheer op die oomblik, die spoed van die game, hulle beheer alles op die oomblik.
Yeah, I'll just come back onto that after we see this kick, because that's a very interesting point you make there, Charles.
Xavier Lee Solomons wat sy tyd neem om hierdie doelskop oor te klits. Reeds 2 oorgeklits. Tref die bal goed, maar ongelukkig links verby.
Yeah, and the point I was making, I think Never Dispair want to play the same speed, the same type of game that Roses are doing at the minute, and they're getting stuck with that. And sometimes a good kick, just turning your men around, turning the defensive line around, getting your men to go forward might help a little bit. They decided to keep the ball in hand, and so far they've come second. And that's a good point you make. You can't play the same game as the opposition at times. Take some time out, slow it down, slow the pace down as well. Allow your men to get into a good setup, go forward. But yeah, they've got it all to do now. 19 points to 0. They're behind here, Never Dispair, the men from Malmesbury.
Philander. Keer skop hy lekker diep. Nou is dit Davids wat sy man afstamp. En teer die bal baie. Chandler Davids. Net die keer is dit Chandler Davids. Lekker sterk gehardloop. Nou word daar agter gewag. Roses manne gaan die bal wil skuif. Solomons wat anders besluit. Bal wat in die lug opgeskop word, gejaag deur Lawrence. Bal wat vorentoe geskop. Nou is die probleme vir die manne van Never Dispair is dus die loskakel Xavier Lee Solomons wat sê hy kan ook 3 druk. Hy voeg sy naam by die 3 drukkers en ook die 4de 3.
4 tries to 0, but no matter what level of rugby you play it, if you give a 10 so much time on the ball, he can decide what he wants to do, he can change his mind. He decided to put that into the blue skies here in Wellington, and it certainly came off, and that is going to be another little seed in the mind there of Roses to say, listen, we can even try to pop it up in the air. And then it was good sort of footy being played to keep that ball under control, and over he popped for the 4th try of the Roses. It is one-way traffic here in Wellington.
Ja, jammer om te sien met 13 minute speeltyd oor in die eerste helfte. Telling wat wegloop van die manne van die Swartland, Never Dispair. Hulle sal vinnig moet terugkom in hierdie wedstryd indien hulle sê wil hê. Maar wat 'n toernooi, Eugene, Thurlow Marsh, paasnaweek toernooi, word oor 3 dae gespeel. Reeds die eerste wedstryd wat gewen was met 58 punte teenoor 38. Baie punte was opgestapel. Ongelukkig Hemel het wat die onderspits delf. Nou is dit Solomons wat weer ongelukkig 'n verbroude kans deur hom.
Yeah, Hamlets will look at that game. They got so close, 10 points at half time, and then at one stage it was just the 6 behind. Converted try would have put them ahead, and then a few errors, and then gifting young Hamilton's a chance to go in for a couple of tries as well, and then at the end, a 20-point difference. I think the scoreboard flattered to deceive that. I think it was a closer game than that, with just a few areas. But what a platform this is. I mean, we keep talking about the rugby that's being played here in the Boland. Many a team across a wide spectrum of the province here. And another platform for these guys to come up and play. It's a bit tough though. 3 games, 3 days. Well, these guys are giving it their all.
Weer Philander. Weer word daar lekker diep geskop. Persens onder die bal. Nou word die bal agterlangs geskuif. Andries wat baie gebruik in die middelveld. Kan sien hoekom, hy's lekker sterk kerel. Agalas, Solomons bal veld afjaag. Manne van Never Dispair. Hulle gaan 'n teenvoeter moet hê vir hierdie roospan. Nou word hardloop, goed gehardloop met die bal. En 'n gaping, maar weer een aanslag in die middelveld. Kan kom en
Shaw, the man was there, put out his hand as well, and he said, listen, give the ball to me. And then the tackle came on, and then he lost the ball.
Gaswin could see wat 'n hele paar Roses manne flows.
It was a good run. It was a good run through the middle. And Roses will not be happy that a player can run all the way through gaping gaps like that.
Jurika Gallas. Goeie skrap die keer. Plaasvervangers wat onmiddellike verskil maak. Dit is wat jy wil hê van jou impakspelers, Eugene. Ons het gesien die impakspelers wat opgekom het.
Where have they been? What a scrum that is. What a scrum that was from Never Despair, and immediately they're deciding, right, we're going to go and put some points on the board. I don't mind that. It just gives your team a little bit of a confidence booster with 10 minutes to go.
Baie interessant ook. So belangrik om jou plaasvervangers op die regte tyd op te stuur. Ek sien ouens soos Pieter Marang, Nicolas Tromp wat op die veld verskyn het. En onmiddellik sien jy die verskil. Nou sit 'n geleentheid vir Douglas Williams. Sy span se eerste punt aan te teken. Hy kry dit reg. Eerste punt op die bord in die vorm van 'n strafskop.
Well, that's a confidence boost if ever there is one. And hopefully they can take and build on that. 24 points to 3. They still trail Never Despair here over the Roses United.
Daar's geen haas by die Roses span nie. Man is op hulle gemak. Hulle loop voor, hoekom dan? Die 24 punte teenoor 3 met 9 minute speeltyd oor.
Yeah, that's a good take, and it's all about the exit now, especially after you get points on the board. Well, what we're seeing is another gap, and through he goes again. Well, the Roses need to just tidy that up, because there's a few gaps now in that defensive line, and Never Despair are getting over that advantage line every time now.
Nou sit Kutsie wat op skrimskakeldiens doen. Die keer is dit Persens wat op sy plek is, Philander. Nou word die puntemaker wat probeer stryd maak. Dis Williams. Wat weer hierdie kantlyn hardloopie. Haal nie liewer Callan Lawrence. Nou sit die gevaarman Ronaldo Young. Probeer Young, nog steeds Young. Hy wil afrond en hy gaan afrond. Hy kry dit reg. Dis hoekom hy so gevaarlik is. Die Boland Cavalier. Verlede week sy debuut gemaak en hy wys hoekom Eugene.
What a run that is. What a moment. I mean, if they were handing out awards for a moment of the game, that would have been up there. Ronaldo Young, twinkling feet, started in his own half, finishes off in the opposition try line. Brilliant stuff, and I would say he was untouched, maybe just a little bit of a tag on the shirt, maybe by one of the defenders, but they had no answer to his pace, no answer to those feet of his. Well, you say he's a Cavalier. Are we seeing many a Cavalier that's going to be on display this weekend?
Met min spasie wys hy hoe gevaarlik hy is. Solomons wat die 2 punte byvoeg. Reeds 11 punte aangeteken. Xavier Lee Solomons.
Well, I think Never Despair just want this halftime whistle to blow so they can find out what else they can do, because at the minute they've got the 3 points, but Rosa said you can have 3, we'll take 7. They've got a few dangers, men, and we can see why they are undefeated this year so far.
Never Despair, hulle lyk na 'n redelike jong span, onervare span. Is goed vir die blootstelling. So jy wil teen die beste kompeteer. Philander, weer word daar diep geskop. Middelik word die man afgestamp. Like 'n sterk kerel. Nou is die bal aan die kant van Never Despair, Adriaanse. Wat goed doen, maar nog steeds die manne van Never Despair. Nou is daar geleentheid. Lee Donovan April, lekker sterk gehardloop. Manne wil rugby speel, Williams. Nou is dit Piet Persent. Philander in die middelveld opgeneem hier van die plaasvervangers, lyk na Nicolas Tromp. Nou is dit word die bal geskuif agterlangs. Gaan baie help met die manne se selfvertroue indien hulle 3 kan kry hier net voor rustyd. Nou word daar reguit gemaak. Maguire. Skeieregter wat die voordeel speel en 'n strafskop Eugene.
Brilliant from Never Despair on the attack. Started with a good run there in the midfield, and then we see a few prominent men. Williams with ball in hand. Oh, he's a strong runner as well. The inside centre for Never Despair. Well, I think they were going to go for a tap, but this is a good decision, going for the scrum. Can they build on the previous scrum where they were just shoving Roses back and got the penalty from that? I think they want more than just the 3 points here, Shaw.
varsbene wat hulle op die veld het. Lisandro Oktober, Pieter Morang, Nicolas Strom in die voorste linie. Kan ons weer 'n goeie skrim sien deur die manne van Never Dispair. Het vroeër reg gekry om die roospan in Trirad te plaas. Nou is dit Roses wat 'n beter skram uitvoer hier, maar nog steeds agterlangs. Philander, nou word Williams wat weer stryd maak. Reguit trek in die middelveld. Benodig spasie in die buitekant. Philander fop aangee. Nou word die bal na binne gegee. Gevaarman Bitterhout. Wat in die agterlyn kom nog steeds Bitterhout. Sal moet grond toe kom. Persent wat wag vir die bal. Skeieregter wat lekker gesels met die manne. Persent. Opgeneem. Kan die man afrond. Nou word gewag agterlangs. Weer Williams. Hy gaan verseker die bal skuif na buite. Gevaarman April. Effens reg op gehardloop in die kontak. Die bal word uitgeskop.
Well, it's going to be a line out. And I just got to look at that percent. The two passes given was very high and very direct, not in front of the runner, so you can't run on to it with any pace. You just got to watch that pass of his. Frederick Percent. He's always there looking for the ball, but now Never Dispair enjoying some territory advantage here finally, and there's going to be a scrum. Now I think Rose has got the wake-up call from the previous one, and they were certainly back to work at it. And now this is on to Never Dispair to see if they can really put the scrum under pressure here for the men in blue.
3 minute speeltyd oor in die eerste helfte. 34-3. Roospan wat voorloop. Gallas. Beter skrim die keer die Never Dispair. Maar die bal word kom agteruit. Nou word dit gespeel deur die hande weer Williams. Nee, die keer is dit Engelbreg. Nou word gewag deur Persent. Hy word onder die voorspeel is gehou. Persent gaan die regte opsies moet uitvoer. Hy hou die bal onder sy voorspelers. Hy het die manne om die bal op te neem. Nou word dit agterlangs geskuif. Philander wat weer na binne gee. Koopman. Maar dan gaan die steelkant gebruik. Weer in die middel deur gaan hardloop Smit. Weer Philander. Philander wat sy man probeer klop met sy voete. Wen die veld op die oomblikkie. Hulle sal wel afrond net voor rustyd, maar 'n strafskop word toegeken.
Holding on, deemed the referee. And all that enterprising play from Never Dispair has come to a halt with that penalty. But again, I think the confidence is growing in this team from Malmesbury. It's a lot better. A few of their runners now being a little bit more prominent with ball in hand. So they just need to continue this, and maybe the chat at halftime might be a little bit easier for Never Dispair.
Sien onmiddellik die impak wat die plaasvervangers maak op die veld. En daar is 'n rede hoekom die afrigter hulle vroeër opstuur. Net so 'n bietjie gesukkel in die skram. Ons het Davids. Dampies en Persents die keer. Agallas.
Yeah, not straight, so options, and they're going to go for the scrum. So can they maybe get a 7-pointer here just before the halftime shawl? So a lot of space here on the blind side, I have to say that. And immediately we see Philander coming to have a word here with his right winger, April, to say, listen, just stay away, but I'm not sure if he does look very interested at the minute, so we'll see how this play is going to go.
So belangrike kommunikasie op die aanval en ook op die verdediging. Speeltyd byna verstreke. 28 punte verskil in die eerste helfte. Die Roospan wat onmiddellik hulle stem dik maak hier in die toernooi. Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi.
The second one, I'm led to believe, and we want to thank everybody that has sort of joined forces with Thurlow Marsh. It's for a great cause. The Ames the objectives, creating a platform for all these players, young and old, to come out there and play. And what better place to play out here on the Boland Rugby Stadium here. We'll get a mention of all the sponsors here to you.
Beter skrim. Persent. Wat wag vir die bal, nou word die bal agter opgetel. Titus. Williams, die keer op skrim skakel. Daar hoor jy die rustyd. Hoeter wat afgaan. Het sal goed wees vir die manne se selfvertroue indien hulle punte kan kry hier voor rustyd. Oomblik. As die manne so 'n bietjie besluitloos. Nou sit Keenan Smith wat vasgevat word. Philander, nou is dit die gevaar man. Nou is dit Philander liewer in die middel deur gehardloop, lekker sterk gehardloop deur Maguire. En onmiddellik die skeieregter wat die aanslaan opmerk of die vorentoe aangee en dis die einde van die eerste helfte, 31 punte vir die Roospan en die manne van Dispair, hulle kon net 3 punte aanteken in die vorm van Williams. Maar ek moet vir jou sê, die Roospan reeds 5-3 gedruk in die eerste helfte. Ek voorspel niks goed vir die manne van Dispair nie, Eugene.
Well, for one, I'm glad to see how they really picked themselves up in the last 5 minutes, never despair, and really camped themselves in the 22. And so they've got something to talk about, hopefully, in that ring there. But I think they can build on that. It's a big deficit. Don't look at the scoreboard now. Just go out, play better, get the facets of play, get your line out sorted, and then try and build up from there.
Ja, wat die eerste helfte hier vanaf die Boland Rugby Stadium Eugene, maar ongelukkig is die toernooi is nie moontlik sonder die betrokke partye nie.
Yeah, well, we want to give a great shout out here to all the sponsors linked to this tournament. Sanlam, who have sponsored all the T-shirts, the warm-up shirts to all the teams participating in this tournament. Clicks, Paul Wellington provided a pop-up wellness booth with pharmacists and other qualified professionals who assist patrons with basic health tests. So if you need to have any sort of test done, why not pop down to the Boland Rugby Stadium here and go into the Clicks sort of booth and they will sort of assist you there as well. Gentlemen's Barber Shop. They contributed trophies for winning teams, enhancing the competitive spirit, and also you might get a good haircut from them as well, who knows? And Banana Skins. They are an apparel company donating custom apparel for the event, adding to the tournament's unique and memorable experience. So all of you, a great deal of thanks for forming part of this tournament as well. And you can see a lot of banners as well on the outside, and a great deal of thanks goes out to you guys as well. Teaming up with Thurlow Marsh, what a legend he is here at Boland Cavaliers.
Thurlow Marsh toernooi, Roses United wat by rustyd 31 punte teenoor Dispair se 3 voorloop. Ons is terug net na die breek. Welkom terug hier vanaf die Boland Rugby Stadium wat gasheer speel vir die Thurlow Marsh Paas naweek toernooi hier in die Witzenberg streek hier in Wellington op die Boland Rugby Stadium. Ons verwag meer mense bietjie later en daar is ook nog wedstryde wat volg net hierna en dan die hoofwedstryd gaan wees tussen die gasheer Villages Newton en dan ook Hillcrest United. Ek sien uit na hierdie Paas naweek toernooi. Dis die tweede wedstryd in hierdie Paas naweek toernooi. Verlede jaar so 2500 toeskouers, ondersteuners wat opgedaag het. Ons verwag die jaar baie meer. 2025 is die tweede jaar wat die Thurlow Marsh Paasnaweek toernooi afskop en sien uit na hierdie tweede helfte terwyl Philander gereed maak om die bal af te skop. Die keer lekker diep geskop. Middelik word die bal opgeneem. Lekker sterk gehardloop deur Kermis. Besige agtermiddag wat hy het, nou weer deur die hande bietjie skuins oor die veld gehardloop, maar die dampies wat besluit hy gaan reguit maak. Hy trek die lyn reguit, bal wat net agteruit spat Gallas. En in die gevaarman se hande Ronaldo Young, ons het reeds gesien wat hy kan doen.
Yeah, we saw what a lot of these Roses men can do as well, and what a good run that was after the kickoff. You cannot miss tackles, because once you miss one, you're just so much under pressure. And there's still willingness to run with ball in hand here, the Roses. So scrum here, and we're going to see it was a good contest in the last sort of 10 minutes when the changes were made by Never Dispair in that front row. So let's see if they can maintain that.
Percent. Philander die keer met die bal. Williams wat op sy skouer is, maar hy word nie gebruik nie. Is dit weer percent. Verseker gaan hy die groot man 'n kans gee om reguit te maak hier in die middel. Die keer is dit Pieter Marang. Nou is dit Trump. Lekker sterk gehardloop. Sien wat wag. Philander, die man is hier om rugby te speel in die middel, word die bal opgeneem. Tyd is. Philander, wat gaan hy die keer maak? Hy besluit om die bal lig te gee. Peterson. Baie gevaarlike Lawrence die keer. Nou binne gegooi nie 'n goeie aangee, die bal word onderskep. Is dit die eerste 3? Is dit die eerste punte van die tweede helfte? Hy kan nie afrond, die ongelukkig. April in die binnekant. Nog steeds het die man 'n kans. Never the space op die aanval. Nou word die bal deur die hande gespeel. Goeie verdediging deur Davids. In die proses het hy hom seer gemaak. Nou word nog steeds verby aangee. Een van die voorspelers wat die bal opneem. Dis November die keer. Dan word gewag deur Philander op skrimskakel. Persent op loskakel. Weer word die bal opgeneem. Die keer is dit Maguire. Williams wat wag. Williams besluit hy gaan die bal opneem. Goeie verdediging op hom. Goeie duikslag wat uitgevoer was deur die Roses manne, een van die Roses spelers. Nou is dit Philander. Hier is dit Bitterhout wat in die agterlyn sny. Hy kom soek werk. Philander. David Dispair wat met baie selfvertroue speel die eerste 2 minute van hierdie tweede helfte. Beter gedoen deur die manne van Never Dispair. Belangrik om die bal te beskerm, Philander. Hy gebruik sy voorspelers om reguit te maak. Hulle het spasie nodig aan die buitekant. Weer is dit Marang. Hy maak versekerde impak. Nog steeds in besit, Never Dispair. Hulle wil afrond. Hulle kry dit amper reg. Nou word die bal agterlangs geskuif. Fop aangee, goed beheer. En hulle rond af. Kan jy dit glo? Johan Bitterhout. Ek is beïndruk met die manier hoe die Never Dispair span die tweede helfte begin, Eugene.
Well, I thought that half-time was a good time for them just to regroup. They had the better of the last 5 minutes in terms of territory in that first half, and then here it shows. But what I liked, Charles, is the way they just showed patience, kept the ball well in contact, a lot better, and then settled up. And then a lot better passing that time from Percent. It wasn't high, it was allowing his men to run onto the ball with pace and then going over the advantage line as well at numerous occasions. And this man taking the kick as well. Williams, he's been prominent. Can he add the 2 points? Yes, he can. And they have had a good start. I said, do not focus on the scoreboard. Just play better rugby. And so far in this first sort of 5 minutes, they've certainly done that.
Goeie begin deur die man af van die Swartland. Hulle eerste 3 wat hulle aanteken. En ook eerste punte in die tweede helfte. Baie beter gedoen.
Yeah, a lot better. And good continuity, as I said, but it stems from Frederick Present and how he presents that ball. And Finlander has been prominent as well. Now, if Present can sort of get the ball to him as well, they can really get across that advantage line and show the patience and set up the phases. They've shown their willingness. Good start from them in the second half.
Solomons, 3 drukker bitterhout. Die bal veld af, hy gaan hierdie kantlyn halie. Hierdie roospan gaan hardloop met die bal. Pieters, Lawrence liewer. Nou is dit weer Solomons. Callas wat wag vir die bal agter. Williams, nee, Adneries liewer. Nou is dit weer Kermis wat 'n bar sou speel. Sterk Adri Kermis, die nommer 8 van Roses. Callas word gepla, maar die skeieregter onmiddellik op sy vletjie. 'n Strafskop word toegeken aan die roospan.
Yeah, good strong run there by the 8 Adri Kermis, getting Roses back on the front foot again. And they might just try and find the touchline here.
Ja, onmiddellik Oswo 'n mentor, een van die mees ervare voorspelers, wat wys ons gaan kantlyn toe. Solomons wat seker maak die keer, gaan belangrik vir Alson Davids wees om sy springers te vind.
Oh, it must be a Boland thing, all the teams' willingness to run from wherever. And they're certainly taking the ball and getting on the front foot. All the teams I've seen, Shaw, they just, whenever they get the ball, their willingness to run.
Seker gaan hulle weer persents gebruik in die lyn staan, maar die skeieregter wat nie tevrede is nie. Soek meer variasie eintlik in die lyn staan. Teen die groter spanne weet ek nie of dit gaan werk nie. Weer persents wat seker. Maar die bal ontvang, nou word die rolmalbeweging van Stapel gestuur. Geen twyfel, die manne van Roses, hulle gaan afrond. En Alson Davids, die kaptein, wat sê ek neem die een.
Well, I made mention about that in the first half, about the momentum that Moore gets, and this time that momentum had a lot more pace on it, and by the time Alshon Davids got to the back of that Moore, it was easy for him just to take the ball and over he popped. Far better Moore, far better pace in that Moore, far better drive, and over they pop. 5 points to the Roses yet again.
Eswel Dampies wat nou die veld verlaat. En ek is beïndruk, Eugene, Adri Kermis, wat 'n speler.
Oh, he's a good ball carrier. And what I like, he gets across that gain line and puts his forwards on the front foot, and he's always there looking for the ball. And I think all the men, especially Peterson as well, he was one of the try scorers from that first half. And he comes off his wing looking for work, and that's what you like to see.
Ook Alson Davids wat die veld verlaat, die kaptein, na die 3 wat hy gedruk het. Dink hy het genoeg gehad vir die dag, want dit was 'n lang naweek wat voor lê. Nog baie rugby om te speel, terwyl die 2 punte bygevoeg word deur die jongs Xavier Lee Solomons.
Well, it's going to be one-way traffic, but it is how they play here, never despair. So far in the second half, both teams getting 7 apiece.
Meer en meer varsbene wat op die veld verskyn.
Hey, your pen is working overtime there, Shaw, keeping track of this, I tell you. But we got some fresh legs, fresh faces. And the man that he's going to kick us off here, Hartnick, he's even going to start us off here, and he's going to kick the ball across to the far side. That's not a bad side because the men are looking directly into the setting sun here.
Interessant om te sien, het lyk nou Williams wat ook die veld verlaat. Nee, dit is nommer 4, Slot wat die veld verlaat liewer, Macquarie. Sy het spelers op die veld, Dwayne Miller, Joseph Lucania, Wellington Swarts wat op die veld verskyn het. Het gaan oor geleenthede in hierdie toernooi.
Yeah, and you got to keep and maintain that intensity level that you're playing at. And a few men that have come up, they can certainly do that for the Roses. And certainly maybe lift the spirits here of Never Despair.
Ook Caswell Johnson aan die kant van Roses wat langs die skrim gaan sak. Kan ons 'n goeie agterlyn beweging sien van die Roses span. Agalas wat 'n lekker been gewys in die middelveld. Lyk gevaarlik, Joe Nathan August, ek sal hom graag meer met bal in die hand wil sien. Nou sit die manne van Never Despair wat die geleentheid het om aan te val. Vars been op die veld. Skeieregter wat 'n strafskop toeken. Kom ons kyk wat hulle besluit.
Well, let's start by the scrum. The communication wasn't great there on the Roses side. And then the ball coming out, and then good awareness from Never Despair to pick the ball up, because that ball was out of the ruck. But when they had the ball, Charles, I think they just missed that early communication, because there's loads of area free here just behind the defensive line, and no one was back because the 15 didn't know whether to cover right or left. So a chance gone of begging there to gain some more ground. However, they got the penalty and taking play up to the 10-meter line there of the Roses.
Nou sit die Roses span wat heel wat van hulle plaasvervangers op die veld stuur. Chet Williams, Jason Fortuin, ook Tyreek Hatnie wat op die veld verskyn. Van die ervare manne wat die veld verlaat, mentor. Sien ook die skrimskakel Gallas wat ook sy debuut daar maak vir die Roospan wat die veld verlaat. Dan Chantle Davids ook. Oktober wat nou die geleentheid het om die bal in te voer. Voorlangs baie slim gespeel Oktober. Goeie loopie wat hy inkry. Skeieregter wat sakke fyn dop hom, maar persent wat wag vir die bal. Die keer is die bal aan die kant van Roses, maar strafskop, dit was ontoelaatbaar. Rugby.
Well, I don't think the ball went 5 meters from the line out. That's the first thing I'm looking at. Was a good line out set piece. However, I think the referee maybe just missed the trick. But then, at ruck time, again competing very well. Men from Roses, but that was deemed illegal. So, they're going to opt for the scrum. They're going back to the scrum here, Charles, and this is where they've competed very well with the Roses. And whenever I see this, I look at that backline, how they set up here.
Manne soos Davids wat van die veld af is, mentor, ook Dampies. Kom ons kyk wat gebeur in die skrim, in hierdie skrim. Daar is 'n rede hoekom die manne van Never Despair skrim verkies. Ons kyk wat gebeur. Persent wat weer die geleentheid het om die bal in te voer. Dan word dit weer agterop getel. Swarts wat nou op nommer 18 doen. Nou is dit weer Marang wat die bal in die hand het. Persent wat wag vir die bal wat so 'n bietjie stadig agteruit kom. Wat 'n keer opgepik deur die voorspelers. Hulle besluit om die bal onder die voorspelers te hou. En aanslaan.
All set up by the strong pods that's there. Looking to pick up and drive, just going around the corner, but he ran straight into a pod known as Roses United and driven back, and that just forced a knock on. And they're keeping the defensive work still very high here, Roses United, and keeping men at bay here from Never Despair. Another change being made by Never Despair. 26 minutes to go.
Yep. 2-3 reeds in die tweede helfte. Never Despair wat geantwoord het. Bitterhout wat afgerond het vir sy span. Eerste punt in die tweede helfte gekry het in die vorm van 'n verdoelde 3, maar die Roospan onmiddellik geantwoord met 'n 3 deur Davids. Nou sit Young in besit. Min spasie wat hy het. Plaasvervanger Tyreek wat op die veld is, Hatnie. Lekker die bal agterlangs voer. Lyk of hy baie vinniger die bal agterlangs voer. Nou word dit deur die ander gespeel, maak Andries wat die bal skuif. met 'n man aan die buitekant gevaar. Ligte wat flikker en hy is dwars deur. Lyk na Peterson, Jywin Peterson wat afrond vir die Roses span.
That's his second try, very easily done, going through the hands, getting the ball to the speedster on the left wing, and he made that look very, very simple as well. Pinned the ears back, and over he went. It was a despairing ankle tap there, but that was going to stop the big man, and they just keep adding to the points tally.
8 spanne wat deelneem in hierdie Thurlow Marsh Paasnaweek toernooi verlede jaar se wenner Abbotsdale. Hulle is die verdedigende kampioen van hierdie Thurlow Marsh toernooi wat 2024 begin het.
Well, so this is all set. This is the quarterfinals, all happening today. Saturday we'll see the semi-finals, and then it's onward to the finals on Easter Monday. And if you're around this Wellington area, why not pop by Boland Rugby Stadium here?
Geen twyfel, heel wat rugby om na uit te sien. Hy nou Apollos wat ook nou op die veld verskyn het. Geleentheid om die 2 punte by te voeg. En hy maak seker.
Well, at no stage did he look at where the ball was going. He just kept his head down, turned around, and he was waiting for the referee's whistle to go. That it did. So the 2 points is added. As the sun lowering every second, but still some lovely weather here we're having in Wellington. It's getting a little bit cooler, and I think the players will admire that and enjoy that as well. As the Kanya, he's going to start us off here.
Diep geskop die keer. Het gaan die Roospan maak. Hulle besluit hulle gaan die bal veld afjaag. Die keer wil hulle in die regte gebiede gaan speel. En hulle skroom nie om uit hulle eie gebied uit te hardloop nie. So gevaarlik is hierdie span.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because, as you said, this is a 3-day tournament with rest days in between. So now you've got to slow the game. The game is probably done, so just slow the game down, play at a slower pace. Give your men some time to recover.
En dit is ook belangrik om so 'n bietjie kombinasies te toets. Op die oomblik maak Andries en Jonathan in August in die middelveld. Baie min gesien van August. Nou sit Young. En van die plaasvervangers op die veld, Lee Grant Fortuin die keer aan die binnekant gespeel. Young, geen twyfel, hy rond af van sy span. Daar is nie 'n plaasvervanger vir spoed nie, Eugene.
What great feat by Lee Grant Fortuin. Tried to say he's going to go inside, then left him for dead on the outside. And as all good wingers are, Ronaldo Young, just on the shoulder, picking up the scraps, as they say, and over he went with a lovely pop-up pass here by Fortuin to him. And he wasn't going to miss out. Well, the left winger scored just a couple of minutes ago. Now the right winger does it again.
Manne van Never Dispair wat ongelukkig nie 'n antwoord het vir die aanval van hierdie Roospan nie.
Yeah, not at the minute. But they can work on their play. You made mention about working on combinations. And I think that's where Never Dispair just need to get their heads round. Just let's play some good rugby in the remaining minutes that's left in this game here at the Thurlow Marsh Easter Rugby Festival.
'n Geleentheid vir Lee Grant Fortuin. Nog 2 punte by te voeg. Hy het die 3 verdoel van die vorige 3 van Peterson. Die keer is hy regs verby.
Well, this time he looked at the post because I think it didn't come well off the boot then. And he was quick to see if it went over the post, but it didn't go. But the 50 is up for the men from Roses United.
21 minute speeltyd oor in hierdie wedstryd. Roses United wat gemaklik voorloop teen die manne van Never Dispair. Mense daar in die Swartland. Hulle sal nie gelukkig wees met hierdie span. Maar daar is nog baie om voor te speel. Kom ons kyk wat gebeur hier. Interessant, Solomons. Maak seker, en die keer hardloop hy met die bal. Hy het die ondersteuning aan die binnekant. Nou word daar sterk gehardloop. Is dit Liano Apollos, nou is dit Andries, lekkers. Goeie leidige hardloop deur die buitesenter, August. Ek het vroeër gepraat van die kombinasie in die middelveld. Het lyk tog of hulle mekaar vind hier by die laaste 20 minute.
No matter who you put out there for the Roses United, they're finding him very, very well. Good run by the 10 first by Xavier Lee Solomons and sort of broke a couple of tails. I think he wanted to kick for the line and then he saw the rush defense and then there was a gaping gate that just opened up for him. And onwards and forwards they went on a good run. But just the handling, not to the Roses' aplomb, their standards. So yet again a scrum.
Atnik. Weer Andries, 'n goeie lyn gehardloop. Die Lee Grand Fontaine. Nou is dit word afgerond. Kan jy dit glo? Hy laat dit maklik lyk. Dit lyk na die buitesenter. August.
Well, he could have passed that ball to any of 3 men, Shaw, and he found August. And thankfully he did find August because I think the other runner was in front of him and he popped the ball back. Now it is just putting the cherry on this cake that Roses are dishing out here at the minute.
Redelike maklike doelskop vir Lee Grand Fontaine. Maar ek moet vir jou sê, Eugene, dat word goed gekombineer tussen voor en agter spelers.
Well, they got no answer. They got no answer. And, I mean, you've seen this Roses team probably play for most of those games that they have been unbeaten. What has been the change in their play from this year to last year?
2 punte, Lee Grand Fontaine. Definitief 'n verskil. En dit help ook met die groter groep wat jy het. Jy kan getalle hê, Eugene, maar jou diepte, ek dink diepte is belangrik. En is goed om gesonde kompetisie in die span. En dit is wat die span so briljant maak.
Well, the ones that have come on as replacements, they have certainly kept the intensity up here from Roses.
Philander. Goed bemeester. Een van die voorspelers, lekker sterk gehardloop. Was die bal afgeneem, nog steeds Roses in besit. Hulle wen metersveld, byna op die halflyn. Atnik wat wag vir die bal. Skeieregter wat die strafskop toeken.
Well, that's how you drive forward. Excellent work by the forward pack. They've taken play and driven that from their own 22 up to the halfway line. And with that penalty, is it going to find touch? Yes, it is. What an absolute belter of a kick that is from Solomons. Taking play just about 6 meters short of the try line of Never Dispair. And yet again, what a platform this is to see if they can get some more points on the board.
Wat 'n skop, Eugene. Hy groei in hierdie wedstryd as 'n jong speler. Speel goed om te sien, die man speel met hy vryheid. Natuurlik binne in 'n spelpatroon. Nou word daar seker gemaak persens wat hulle nie kan vind nie.
Oh, he's fortunate. Oh, he's so fortunate. That got knocked on. Man, the man from Never Dispair never really expected the ball. Oh, there's a scrum. 5 meters out.
Wow.
They can go either way. However, everybody is lined up to the right-hand side of this scrum. But, I say but, I'm keeping a very keen eye on Javen Peterson, who's come off his left wing there. And he's in deep, deep conversation with Mark Andries.
Verseker gaan ons 'n goeie agterlyn beweging sien. Lekker diep gestaan deur die agterlyn. Hulle maak seker hulle sien hulle nommers. Gaan met spoed in die bal gehardloop moet word. Terwyl Solomons wag. Andries. Nou word Peterson gebruik. Dit is weer Solomons met 'n rolskoppie. Bal wat afgeneem word. Never Dispair. As dit Philander in besit. Manne van Roses wat so bietjie aan die slaap gevang word. Sal ook versigtig moet wees op die verdediging. Die keer word die bal veld afgejaag. Nou sit die man met die vinnige voete, Lee Grant Fontaine. Wat gaan hy maak? Hy klop sy man. Hy's deur 'n gaping. Hy speel as in sy binne buitekant. Kerm is weer in besit. Hy speel 'n barsou. Wat nie. Al op die voet gesit met man aan die buitekant.
Yeah, so Steve, the attacking player was in front of the kicker. That's why they've come back for the penalty for that tackle.
Hoor jy dit duidelik? Weer dieselfde besluit Solomons. Weer 'n goeie skop wat hy lood. Wat gaan belangrik wees, Eugene, om op die lyn staan om jou bal, jou springer te vind. En die veilige bal is voor die nommer 2 bal.
Yeah, they've opted to go deep again. And the reason for that is they think that when they go deep, there's a little bit more momentum. Because when the other forwards keep funneling around, you can get momentum into the hit as well. They're just not getting their jumpers. The first protocol is you got to find your jumper. As one of the Never Dispair men was flat out on his back, so we're just going to see if we can get some attention to him. Just 14 minutes to go. And again, just going to, with that break in play, just thank our sponsors again. Sunlum, Click Spa from Wellington, Gentleman's Barber, Banana Skills Apparel, as well as everybody else associated. We've seen a lot of banners out there. We see Octotal for your fiber needs as well. As play is back on and running.
Weer word die bal verloor. Nie 'n goeie lyn staan of 'n goeie ingooi nie aan die Roses kantie. Dis persent wat die bal lig gee. Spring van die bal ongelukkig die kantlyn wat wen.
Yeah, ball was touched there by Roses into touch, so they're going to have the line out. Referee says no, can't do that.
Ja, manne wat vinnig wil speel. Hulle het net 10 punte op die bord.
Well, looks like he's given a scrum here. Must have been a knock on. So Never Dispair is going to have the scrum on that right hand side, on their right hand side I should say, just short of the halfway line in picture.
Roses sal verseker moet werk in hy lyn staan, hè. Al die plaasvangers wat nadat die kaptein afgegaan het, als Sean Davids, lyk dit tog of die manne sukkel in die lyn staan. Persent. Die bal agterlangs geskuif. Spasie in die buitekant, Philander op buitesenter. Lander. Effens agtertoe hardloop. Verloor veld in die proses. Persent. Ons het Philander wat besluit hy skop die bal veld af. Gevaarman Lee Grant Fontaine wat die bal kan bemeester. Die keer doen hy dit beter. Binne gegee. Ronaldo Young. Hy's 'n gemerkte man. Atnik Fontaine, so woer skoppie. Nou word daar vorentoe gevoeter die bal en opgepik. Nou is daar geleentheid vir die manne van Never Dispair. Kan ons die tweede 3 sien in hierdie wedstryd vir hulle, vir die manne van die Swartland. Philander wat wag. Word die bal opgeneem in die middel. Oktober. Weer word die bal agterlangs geskuif, nie 'n goeie aangee na buite. Bietjie besluitloos aan die kant van Never Dispair. Wat 'n duikslag word uitgevoer. Was dit wettig? Dis die vraag.
Yeah, the tackle was legal, but then going off their feet, that wasn't. Again, showing some good enterprising play there. Never Dispair, just wanting a little bit more from it. But that man there, Philander, has been prominent.
Marang. Marang, gelukkig. Jammer, Eugene.
Well, he wasn't 10 meters, so they're going to get another chance. He's had a good game, Marang. So chance again here for Percent.
Weer is dit Oktober. Hy wil bal in hand hê. Percent wat wag vir die bal. Is dit Lucania? Steeds die manne van Never Dispair wat in besit is. Moeilike kerel om te stuit, Engelbrecht. Sy tyd is kan ja, Foppankie goed opgeskiet in die middelveld. Die Roses. En dit Joseph Lukania in besit. Steeds die manne van Never Dispair. Dis 'n tyd is.
Yeah, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Just ran in front of the attacking player there. And so, player has been very disjointed the last sort of 5 minutes from both sides.
Maar die bal gespeel vir Tuin. Maar dan is bereid om met enige hoek uit van enige kant van die veld of op die veld te hardloop, maar bietjie slordig gespel.
Yeah, it's just become so disjointed. Too many errors now from both sides. The latest a knock-on that's going to result in a Never Dispair scrum inside the half here of Roses. Just 10 minutes to go. Maybe fatigue is catching in. It is quite warm.
Verwag meer mense op Saterdag, Eugene. Thurlow Marsh pas naweek toernooi hier in die Wellington Boland Rugby Stadium wat gas hier speel daarvoor. Weer persent. Die bal agterlangs geskuif. Manne aan die buitekant nie goeie aangee nie. Maar kom ons kyk wat gebeur hier. Dis Philander. Hy probeer die manne klop met sy vinnige voete. Skeieregter wat nog 'n strafskop toeken, maar persent wat besluit hy speel vinnig. Was hulle 10 tree terug. Interessant, skeieregter wat 'n strafskop toeken aan Roses, was Roses 10 meter terug, dis die vraag.
Yeah, that is the question. But all in all, he has indicated the penalty going the way of Roses, and the disjointedness is just continuing here in the last sort of portions of this match in the second half. And the crowd is still continuing to come in.
Behoorlike 3-4 hier op Boland Rugby Stadion. Roses wat reeds 10-3 gedruk het hier in hul eerste wedstryd teen die manne van Never Dispair. Nou word dat die seker gemaak in die lyn staan, baie beter gedoen. Had nie Andries nie 'n goeie aangee na Kermis nie.
Yeah, the penalty was already given. So Roses got a chance here to get play back into the 22 of Never Dispair.
Hulle sal moet seker maak met hy aangee. Kermis was in 'n gaping en ons weet sy werketiek in hierdie wedstryd.
Well, another good kick by Solomons. But as you said, they've got to try and fix this line-out from them. It has been bits and pieces from Roses. And as this tournament goes on, they want to get better with that, because it's a very, very good platform for them to launch an attack.
Interessant om te sien dat Apollos die bal invoer, die keer kry het reg. Nou word die rolmaal beweging geloods. Nou word die bal agterlangs, Young in besit, Young! Hy rond af.
Looking for work, the winger, as he goes over for yet again another try. Not just for himself, but for the Roses. They already had the penalty advantage for Never Dispair bringing down that maul illegally. And then it was just a good set players, good phase, just to sort of launch attack. And again, I mean, this kid he looks the part, doesn't he, Ronaldo Young? And we can see why he's been brought up into the Cavaliers side.
Fortuin, hy die geleentheid om 2 punte by te voeg. Ronaldo Young, 3-3 reeds gedruk in hierdie wedstryd. Dis maar net van die min talent wat hier tentoongestel word. Daar's nog baie talent wat hierdie naweek te sien is, terwyl Grant Fortuin die 2 punte byvoeg.
You guys are blessed. Boland is blessed with so many good rugby players. Probably got the most rugby players in club of any province, one would say.
Ja, daar is 200 clubs in die Boland, in die provinsie. So graag ook wil sien dat die Boland hier in die Karibeker deelneem.
A lot of work for them to do with that, though.
Manne wat bereid is nou om van enige kant, enige hoek te hardloop, op die veld lekker sterk hardloop. Die keer is dit Denver Kloete. Nou is dit 'n geleentheid, never the space. Kon ongelukkig net 10 punte aanteken in die wedstryd. Lander wat alles probeer. En ook Kutsi. Dan sit ook Donovan April wat min geleenthede gehad het, maar jy kan sien dat hy een van die gevaarmanne is in hierdie span. Die keer is dit Titus. 2%. Maar die bal net opgeneem. Wel in swart.
Well, somebody need to mop this up.
April wat nader kom. Ook Oktober. Wat van dat hy op die veld verskyn het, ook balle baie bal dra. Bietjie besluitloos. Nou word die bal vorentoe gevoeter met Young wat die bal jaag. Tot die redding is dit April. Maar nog steeds nie uit die moeilikheid. Young wat die bal afvat. Maar ontoelaatbare spel, ongelukkig. Ronaldo Young. Nou word daar weer vinnig gespeel.
A little bit laterally there by the left winger, Kutsia. He's brought down in the midfield, switching play up here to the left-hand side. A few of the big men out here, though. Oh, there's nobody there. There is no one there, and a big hit by Ronaldo Young. Oh, the crowd loved that one.
Hy wys sy klas. Hy wys hy kan nie net afrond nie. Hy kan ook verdedig. Goeie duikslag wat hy uitvoer.
I hope that man there, Denver Kloete, no apology, not Denver Kloete, Langeveld, when I said men outside him, he didn't listen to me because there was nobody on his left-hand side.
Apollos, Fortuin, Hartnik, Andries. Maar die bal na buite gespeel met spasie in die buitekant. Weer die gevaarlike Pietersen. Maar die aangee wat verlore gaan ongelukkig. Weer word die bal onderskep. Skeieregter wat die spel laat voortgaan. En aan die binnekant was dit die regte opsie. Hy loop reeds met 64 punte voor teenoor die 10 van Never the Space. Geen twyfel, die skrif is aan die muur met 3 minute speeltyd oor.
Well, I tell you, Charles, there's a few tired legs out there. This ground is very, very big. Yeah, the Boland Rugby Stadium. And a few men is going to know they've been in a game in terms of covering a lot of ground, a lot of real estate out there. And we can see still the willingness of Roses to really put the spectacle. And I think they want to leave a marker for the remaining 2 days of this tournament.
Geen twyfel, Eugene, daar word 'n sterk waarskuwing uitgestuur deur die Roses span. Nou is dit besend. Skeieregter wat net wil seker maak, hy is nie tevrede met hierdie skrim nie. Hy is ook verantwoordelik vir die spelers se veiligheid, so hy moet seker maak.
Yeah, probably the best conditions now. It's a lot cooler. The whole ground is under the shade as the sun is still setting still. We can see the mountain tops on the far side. They're still basking in the sun. However, this ground with the lights being turned on, there's going to be some spectacle here in the latter end tonight.
2%. Hy speel tot die eindvletjie blaas. Skeieregter wat nog steeds die spel laat voortgaan. Vir 'n oomblik gedog, hy slaan die bal aan. Seker gaan die groot manne gebruik word in die middelveld, maar die bal gaan deur die hande. Goeie verdediging in die middelveld. Dit lyk na Kloete. Denver Kloete. Hy is ook een van die kapteins van hierdie Roses span. Nou is daar geleentheid. Solomons in die middel deur. Middelike strafskop.
Yeah, not retreating the 10. That wasn't the best of kicks and putting his team under enormous pressure because they had to retreat. And the penalty going the way of Roses with just 50 seconds left. So whatever comes what may, this is going to be the last play of this match, which has been dominated, unsurprisingly so, by Roses United over Never Despair, who's shown glimpses, Charles, of what they can give.
3 fees deur die Roses span. Maar wat hulle stem behoorlik dik maak in hierdie Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi.
Yeah, still loads of rugby still to come, and we can only just look forward to what's to come. There will be a little bit of an opening ceremony to this glorious tournament, and then after that we still have, as my co-commentator Charles has been saying, it's going to be Abbotsdale, team that won this last year. They're going to be up against the Vineyards, and then the last game on show tonight, and what a game it is. Villagers Newton versus Hillcrest.
Ek sien uit na daardie wedstryd. Dis die hoofdis. Seker meer mense wat stroom na hierdie veld. Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi 2024 gestig. En dit ontwikkel verseker in een van die grootes hier in die Boland. Nou is Roos, die Roospan op die aanval. En as die laaste punte sien in hierdie wedstryd, reeds 'n 3 fees wat ons aanskou het. Wie gaan die laaste sê het? Is dit Mark Andries wat kan afrond hier? Andries wat wag vir die bal en hulle rond af.
Well, there it is. Try time for the Roses. 69 points to 10 with a kick to come. Can they get 2 points to take it to 70? And you talk about leaving a mark. You're talking about setting the tone for this tournament. Well, the men from Roses United have shown us, as well as you, wherever you watch this game, that they have come here not to make up numbers, but to go and really perform well, as they've done so far in this season. They've unbeaten and they're continuing on that unbeaten streak so far.
Behoorlike loosing vir die manne van die Swartland distrik. Never Despair. Hulle het baie huiswerk om te doen. Terug na die tekenbord verseker. Harde woorde wat gaan val. 2 dae wat oorbly in hierdie toernooi. Dis die tweede wedstryd van hierdie toernooi. Vandag 1. En hy maak seker dat die 70-tal op die bord is. 71 punte teenoor die 10 van Never Despair. En wat 'n vertoonvenster aan die kant van Roses. 'n 3 fees, behoorlike 3 fees. Hulle het hulle ondersteuners vermaak.
Well, they didn't just entertain them, they entertained us royally here and set the tone in that tri-fest, as you call it, Charles. They've been really magnificent. The interesting thing for me is going to see how the other teams are going to combat their running rugby, how they're going to try and play the game at a different pace when they come against the Roses. Don't compete with them at pace because they've got some really quick runners, elusive runners as well. I think for Never Despair, they've shown glimpses, as I said. They've got to work on that. They've got to focus on that and try and put more of those facets of play together because they were a lot better. Maybe in the second half is what they were in the first, but a lot for them to think about.
Roses United wat behoorlik hulle stem dik maak hier. Hulle trofee manne van Never Despair met 71 punte teenoor 10. En ek sien uit na hierdie span, ook heelwat rugby wat volg hier. 8 spanne wat meeding om die gesogte trofee, die Thurlow Marsh paasnaweek toernooi trofee op die spel. Hier by die Boland Rugby Stadium. Vandag 4 wedstryde wat afkom, Saterdag 19 April. Ook 4 wedstryde en ook maandag 21 April wanneer die finale gespeel word, gaan jy nog steeds 4 wedstryde kan aanskou. Geleentheid vir so baie spelers met 'n squad, as ek Engelse woord kan gebruik, van 30 spelers het jy, so jy kan enige tyd jou 23-tal verander.
Yeah, I think it's a good concept, but I'm more really excited about this platform for all these players. And I mean, being involved last season with the Boland Top 12, I can see why these clubs want to show that they want to make emphasis into that and really just continue in showcasing what Boland has to offer. It's been really good, and I'm looking forward to the remainder of this tournament.
Roses United, wat hulle stemdik maak, hulle wen hierdie wedstryd oortuigend. Nog 2 wedstryde wat volg. Hier vanaf die Boland Rugby Stadium. Tot later. Goed gaan.